In the 1920s, young women were hired to paint watch dials with a substance their employer called completely safe. The scientists who supplied it wore protective gear the whole time. Here's the real chain that connects this to the radiation safety rules protecting you today. After World War I, glow-in-the-dark radium dials were everywhere, on watches, clocks, and instruments. Factories hired young women to hand-paint the tiny numbers with radium-laced paint. To keep a fine point on their brushes, the women were taught a technique: lip, dip, paint. They shaped the bristles with their lips, again and again, all day, every day. Meanwhile, the company's own chemists handled the same radium using lead screens, tongs, and protective aprons. They understood exactly what it could do. Radium behaves like calcium once inside the body. It settles directly into bone and stays there, quietly emitting radiation for years. Years later, the painters began getting sick. Their jaws deteriorated, their bones fractured with no warning, and doctors had no idea what was causing it. The company denied any connection and tried to blame other illnesses entirely, delaying the truth for years while more women got sick. Eventually, independent researchers traced the illness directly back to the radium paint. 5 of the dial painters decided to sue their employer. In 1928, they won. It was one of the first times a court held a company financially responsible for a slow, invisible workplace poisoning, not just a sudden accident. The case forced lawmakers to answer a question they had never really faced before. What happens when a workplace hazard takes years, not seconds, to hurt someone? Their case helped drive new state industrial disease laws, and decades later, it fed directly into the creation of OSHA in 1970, the agency that still sets workplace safety rules today. But the chain didn't stop there. The dial painters had been studied and monitored for years, creating some of the most detailed radiation exposure records that existed anywhere. When the Manhattan Project and Cold War scientists needed to understand how radiation actually affects the human body over time, that data was already sitting there. It helped establish the radiation exposure limits still used today, the same limits that protect nuclear workers, medical technicians, and everyone who has ever had an X-ray. Follow Forgotten Record for more real chains history doesn't